I was I was a combat boot.
Okay. Hunter, have you done it yet?
I haven't. Could you put the link in the chat again, please?
Okay, sure. Um, there you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? If you'll just hop over to that website real quick and then hop back in and let me know what shoe you are. Rose, I like your shoe collection.
I showed it on purpose because I saw this workshop and I was like, oh my gosh, shoes. My favorite thing.
That's awesome. Those are some pretty cool Vans. Are those vintage or are they fairly new?
They're like Journeys, like the only Journey sell them. So like
Okay.
I guess it's just like the color of the store.
When I was teaching school in Alaska, Vans were a big deal back then. So I saw a lot of kids were wearing them. And I even had a little boy in my class. I was teaching second grade at the time. His name was Ryder Love Van. And so he always wore Vans because that was his last name.
That would be easy to remember him.
Yep, he was a pretty good kid. But after his little brother, they didn't come up with weird names because they almost named his little brother Harley Davidson, and they decided on Colton instead. So they were kind of a hippie family. So Lucy, Shelby, and Jonathan, if you'll look in the chat, you will see the website to do the quick survey to determine what shoe you are, and then we will go on from there. If I need to post it again, I can do that. So Ava, do you like shoes too?
Yes, I don't have a lot of shoes, but I like shoes.
When I was growing up, shoes, there wasn't a whole lot of plus size clothes, and I've always been a bigger person. And shoes were the great equalizer because I wore like an 8.5. And so I could wear all the cute shoes that the skinny girls were wearing. So that was my my thing is shoes. Doesn't matter what size your body is, you can find shoes to fit. And so that's an interesting way to look at it. But I've loved this a way to look at personality temperaments. Hunter, do you know yet? Oh, you're still on mute.
I'm finishing up. Almost
All
done.
right. We'll know in just a moment. Jonathan, Shelby, and Kelsey, let us know when you find out what you are. Kaylee, are you gonna have you done this survey as well?
I'm working on it.
Okay, good. So is everybody planning to go to Roundup next week? Good deal.
Yes.
Roundup's a lot of fun. Hard to believe it's been going for 100 years. It's pretty impressive. My mom was a 4-H'er back in the 1940s, and she got to go to then. She had a poultry project and gardening, and I think she did clothing too. Okay, who just said they got combat boot? Was that you, Jonathan? Oh, Lucy got combat boot. Okay. Right. Hunter, do you know yet?
I'm putting in my name and email, and it's going to tell me.
Okay, it will tell you. So this is based off of the Myers-Briggs personality temperament studies that have been done that divides us into 4 different temperaments. It's very similar to real colors or they also in the Myers-Briggs, it refers to it as sanguine, phlegmatic, melancholy, and I can't remember the other one. It's been so many years since I had to learn that back in college. But they all kind of base off of these 4 main personality temperaments. So if you do the real colors, it's going to be either orange, green, blue, or gold. The way Lori Randall divides this out, it's a little bit different in the way that she looks at them, but it comes out about the same. All right, anybody else have theirs? House shoe. All right, we got a house shoe. All right, so a couple more and we will know. So anybody have any fun summer projects they're doing? Anything exciting?
I'm painting shoes.
Oh, like you're painting them to sell or for your personal use or
To
just for
hang up
art?
in my dorm room
Okay, so you're gonna be, where's college gonna be for you?
in Bethany at
Bethany?
Southwestern Christian.
Ah, right across the street from Southern Nazarene.
Mm-hmm.
My husband went to Southern Nazarene way back in the 70s, and some good friends of mine went to Southwestern. So I've been there on campus. I know right where it's at. Small but powerful little school.
Yes.
So Hunter, are you graduated or still in school? He just ate something, so we won't ask him.
I'm going to be getting my basics done at Oklahoma City Community College. Then I'm going to be going up to OSU.
Awesome, awesome. That's a good deal. Get them where they're cheaper before you head to OSU. I'm so old that when I started my freshman year at OSU, undergraduate, like your first 2 years, your basics was $13 in a class hour. That was that. Yeah, it was really nice. And dorms were about $275 a month.
I got clown shoe.
Okay, who was that? Shelby?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So we've got at least one person in every temperament. Okay. So Jonathan, we haven't heard from you. Did you figure yours out? So we've got
I got a clown shoe.
clown shoe also. Okay. All right. So just to we're going to kind of debrief on these and talk about the different personality temperaments, what they look like, and then we're going to look at how that affects us on how we communicate a bit. So let's start with the clown shoe, since we've got 2 clowns. So I have these with me today. My dear friend Joyce bought these for me. She's a retired teacher works at Leonardo's in Enid. And I called her, I was getting ready to do this program, and I called her a few years ago and I said, I need some clown shoes. And she goes, do you want red or black? Because she was a clown herself, and I knew that she would probably have clown shoes, anybody I knew. And so when she went to get them, they had gotten rid of them at Leonardo's. They'd cleaned things out. So she knew that lime green was my favorite color. And so I got these, and I'm never going to let them go. They're awesome. So clown shoes, what do they look like? Their basic desire in life is to have fun. And their body language, they usually have large arm movements. They love meeting new people and getting to know everyone and starting fun projects. Now notice the word start, not finish, but start. Oftentimes they are brainstormers. They're excited about new adventures. And so they jump into things. They don't have a lot of follow-up because when the party starts getting dull, they're ready to go into something new. And so their greatest need is for attention and approval. They want everybody to notice them and to like them and what they want to do. And so for clothing, oftentimes they're pretty flashy or sparkly or lime green and orange, bright colors. And then they love trends, fashion, fun, everything that's kind of new and trendy so that they are noticed. The major dislikes for them are that they don't like not receiving recognition. That's really hard for them. And they don't especially like criticism because they want to be loved, and they take it pretty personally when they're criticized, or if they don't have a new audience to speak to or someone that they can excite or make or get them enthused, and things are kind of dull. They're not really into that. And organization is like, not my thing. So their common speech is they use extreme language. They're going to talk bigger, expressive. So they may say something is the most fantastic. It's absolutely to die for. I almost lost my life, because I tripped and fell on the cement. So they want to make everything big and bold and outstanding. And so, they use very colorful and graphic language descriptors when they talk. So any questions about understanding what a clown shoe is? Does that make sense? Let's see. Shelby and Jonathan, can you identify with that in your own life?
Yes, I can definitely identify with that.
How about you, Jonathan?
Parts of it.
Parts of it. And the important thing to understand with this, if you look at if you get time to go back and do the paper one, that there's a PDF. If you go back and watch the YouTube video that went with this, there's a PDF click to get to this. This helps break it down, and you can see where you came out in the other areas, because none of us are one type of shoe completely. And depending on your day, your job, what's going on in your life, it may vary how you operate in those different shoes. So we usually have one that's a little bit more dominant than others. And so if you don't identify with everything in the clown shoe, you may find it. And I think adventure has a lot to do with the clown shoe. I love to travel, see new sites and places, and find out what's around the corner and what the next journey and adventure is going to be. So let's look at the business shoe. Got my all business shoes here. How are those for shoes, Rose? They're awesome. I can't wear them anymore because I trashed my knee out, but I can't get rid of them because they're so cool. So when
I
we
love
think
how
of,
it's like high heel too.
yeah, it's a nifty heel. They look really cool with a
Oof.
straight black skirt.
I'm jealous.
We might have to work out something if you can wear an 8.5. So all business shoe, their basic desire is they love perfection. They love every I dotted, every T crossed. They like everything organized. Their body language is often poised and graceful. They have dignified movements, and they like to have quiet conversations. They're not going to be yelling across the room, "Hey, how are you?" Doing all this stuff like a clown shoe would be. So they like very specific things. Their organization is very important to them. They like using their talents and honing those to perfection. A meaningful conversation is more important than a chit chat with lots of people or cruising around at a party and talking to everybody and telling funny stories or being the center of attention. Their greatest need is for order, and it's very important that people are sensitive. They think that sensitivity is important to them. And clothing clues will be, they usually wear something very tailored that fits well. It's understated, meaning it's not flashy and loud. It's a classic that can be worn in various occasions and will be long lasting. They don't like anything like bright patterns and colors and wildflowers and things like that. They want to come across very professional and very conservative. Their major dislikes are loose ends. They want everything tied up and finished. My secretary is an all business shoe. And when she leaves at the end of the day, everything in her tray is finished. Her desk is perfectly cleaned off. There's no papers or pencils or anything left out. And most of the time in the day, only thing that's out is what she's working on. And if you looked at my desk or my office, you're just like, see, I mean, there's like stuff everywhere. And so you can tell that I am not a business shoe, even though sometimes I operate in that because of the work that I have to do. I have to fill out forms and paperwork and follow procedures, but it's not my thing. So what we know is that business shoes do not like ill-prepared people. They want everybody to come in. They want them to have their paperwork. They want it to be in order. They want them to be early and on time, and off time is usually late for a business shoe. And they don't like a job that's half done. If you do a half-hearted effort on it, they're like, just give it to me. I'll take care of it, rather than try to have you go back and do it, because they don't like that. And they're not necessarily overbearing people. They're usually very quiet. But they want that order and perfection and balance in their lives. So, Ava Grace, you are our business shoe. Would you agree with that in your life?
A lot of it, yes, but at the same time, I'm not like, I do like fun patterns sometimes. Like there's literally flamingos all over my room. My bed sheets have flamingos on them, and I have flamingo sheer curtains. And so, and I don't know if you can tell, but my walls are really pink. So,
But you have
but
all one theme. You don't throw any panda bears or anything with your flamingos, right?
for the most part,
So
yeah.
you like balance. Everything has to be kind of balanced out and orderly.
Yeah.
So if we looked
Yeah.
at your sock drawer, would it be a mess, or would they all be in rows?
A mess, honestly.
My mom
It,
is.
it would be somewhat organized. Like, so for my shirt drawer, because this is a better example,
Okay.
like I don't always fold my laundry. Sometimes I just shove it into the drawer, but it's in sections. So like my long sleeve shirt would be all the way at the end, and then my like short sleeve shirt would be on the other side of the drawer. And they wouldn't be folded, that I'll just be shoved in there, but they're still separated.
Gotcha.
So
So you have an order to it. You understand your system.
I have my own order, yeah.
Well, having grown up with a business shoe mom who's a little OCD, my sock drawer will be all in order, but the colors will be all mixed up. But it'll be in rows, because that was the way I was taught, just to do it that way. So we pick up habits from our parents, and this is going to help you to understand your parents and your family members also. So let's look at the combat boots. So if we look at combat boots, their basic desire is control. They want to be in charge of the situation, and they want to charge. They like to be in action. So their body language is usually they're very proud in their bearing. They're purposeful walking. They step out, they march, they point, they fist pound. Sometimes they want to be very direct and have everything kind of almost militaristic at times, but not in a bad way. So the things that they like to prove they're right. So often these people love research, they love science, discovery, and they want to prove a point, that if they say something, they want to be able to back up what they say, or if they have a question, they want to find the right answers. They also like emergencies. They like being there to help, to step in, to fill a need that they see. And they often like heated debates. They'll argue a point because they want to prove that they're right. Their greatest need is achievement and appreciation. Their clothing, they're usually going to choose something. It may be If they're in business, they're going to choose a power suit or an authoritative suit. They like strong colors that make a statement, and they're not into frills or silly things. Everything needs to be purposeful. Things that they don't like, sometimes they don't like taking orders. And if they do, if they do take orders, they will often obey without question because it's coming from someone above, and that's the chain of command. They don't like saying they're wrong because they always feel like they can back up their reasoning. But they will sometimes question things. They're not into mindless activity. If you give them busy work in class, they're just going to like, no, if I need a mission, I need a directive and a purpose for what I'm doing. And they're not into small talk. They want to talk seriously about something. They're not going to just goof around. So that's some things basically. And our combat boot was Lucy. Lucy, how do you feel about this? Is that kind of the way you see yourself?
Yeah, that was pretty good. I mean, there's some stuff that's not quite right, but
Yeah, and that can be. So what would you add or that you might add to this that you would say about yourself that fits
Well,
in?
I mean, most of the differences for me though are just I'm kind of shy. So some of the like going out there and stuff is a little, I may want to go out and do stuff, but I would kind of,
So, but you want a purpose between what you're going out to do, right?
yeah. So the only differences for me is just that I'm kind of introverted. So somebody being super bold or like the center of attention isn't really my thing, but a lot of the
Right.
how you think aspects to that are pretty good.
Well, and oftentimes with a combat boot, their desire to be bold is in their service. They're, giving it themselves. A lot, you think of military, people who are in the military, people that Red Cross volunteers, they like being on that line of service. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the last one we're going to talk about is the house shoe. And the house shoe, their basic desire is that they want peace and comfort. They have a very relaxed body language. They're usually sitting or leaning on something. When they talk to you, they're not going to be up in your face like this and really intense. They're going to be kind of just hanging out, just taking it easy, watching life go by. They don't, their body movements are generally very relaxed, no tension, slow and steady. They don't get in a big hurry about anything. They just want to let life flow by like a slow, lazy river. The definite likes, they like a routine. They don't like big interruptions or changes at the last moment. They like to be a mediator, a peacekeeper. I did this class with a group of teens from the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes earlier this week. And one of the girls who was a house shoe, she said, I'm the one who steps in the middle when there's an argument at home and tries to find common ground and peace. And she said, that's where I really see myself. And house shoes often enjoy relaxation and rest. They need to recharge their bodies when they've been out doing something. So getting home to that nest, their place, their spot, or with their friends if they're comfortable with, or if they're into like going to the lake or hunting and fishing or a hobby, that's where they recharge and do a lot of self-care. And they like to blend in. They don't like to stand out in the crowd and be like, hey, watch me, like the clown shoe. They're just going to kind of be mellow and fit in and be the quiet person maybe in the room. Their greatest need is to be respected. How people view them is very important, but respect is more important than being liked. And they want to have a strong sense of self-worth. Clothing, easy care, no starch, nothing stiff or fancy. And show you this feels much better than this, right? Nothing buttoned up, fancy high heels. Just let me slip on my comfy shoes and kick back. And they want comfort about fashion and no fussy hairstyles. They're not into the big updos or high maintenance and heavy, makeup for girls. They're probably going to go pretty low and natural with everything and not worry about what they're wearing. Baseball cap is a good way to put your hair up. So major dislikes. They don't like the pressure to perform. If they can sit in the back and let somebody else do all the performance, and they may contribute ideas and help with projects and things like that, but they're not going to be the person that stands up and talks about it in front of the class or wants to be out in the front leading. They definitely don't like turmoil. If there's confrontation and upset going on, they'll just back off. They don't want any part of it. They don't fit into rigid schedules. They like to run on their own time. And if they're late, that's just because that's the way life's going. And if they're early, that's good too. But if they're like, oh, be here about 7:30ish, And so that could be anything from 7 to 9:30. Time isn't real important on schedules. And they really don't like confrontation. They want everything to go on at an easy pace. So, Hunter, you're our house shoe. How do you feel about that? Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I know when you start talking about it, I was like, man, it kind of sounds like me. But then there are some things I was like, yeah, but it kind of depends the situation, circumstances.
Mhm.
I'm a very routine person.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of stuff not going in routine. Other than that, I feel like sometimes I can be a business shoe.
And sometimes we have to operate in those other shoes. And we may be closer than you realize on those two levels when you take the test. So we're going to talk a little bit more and kind of expand on this about how you view your shoe. And I want you to think about too your families and friends that maybe you're starting to identify and see where they fit into this. Like my husband, he has like on his personal level, like if he wants to go do stuff, like he loves to skydive. That's one of his things. He used to ride saddle broncs and rodeos till he busted up his shoulder. And so he has this adventurous spirit, but he operates more like a combat boot. And in the way that he does his everyday life. But there's a little bit of that other stuff behind him where I tend to pick up the gold of like organizing my sock drawer, and I keep it organized for a while, but I don't maintain it because the orange jumps all over it and just shoves them in there. And that's kind of the way life goes. I love organizing things and events, but I don't like to do the follow up and finish it off. I'll let somebody else take care of that. So as you go through this, think about your primary temperament, your shoe, and I want you to think about what brings you joy. So we'll just kind of go around, and I want you to think about some of the greatest things that bring you joy in your temperament. So let's start with Shelby and Jonathan. You're the clown shoes. What brings you joy? If you can do something, what is going to just make you smile and be over the top? You want to go first, Shelby?
Yeah. I think being with my friends and my family, just like hanging out after school or something, that brings me joy. And even like going to Roundup and seeing all my 4-H friends that I don't usually get to see throughout the year, that really brings me joy because I haven't seen them in forever. And just having fun and being the outgoing person that I am also brings me joy.
So good. Now, where is home for you?
I live, home as in like where I live or like?
Yeah, like
okay.
what county and town area?
Oh, okay. I'm from Grady County, but I live in Amber, Oklahoma. So.
Okay. All right, Jonathan, what about you? What brings you joy?
Working on it. Why isn't it unmuting?
We can hear you.
Oh, well, that's stupid. It's not showing that I'm unmuted.
Yeah, well, you are.
Okay. What brings me joy? Being a disappointment.
So being a disappointment brings you joy.
Yes.
So you have a little bit of rebellion in you.
Yeah. You can say that.
So do you have an adventurous side? I think we lost you again. So if you want to put something in the chat, we can read. That would be cool too. All right, let's talk to our combat boot. That's Lucy. Lucy, how do you see yourself? What brings you joy?
I like to go out and do things with my friends, like go to a movie or go do like a craft or something.
Okay. So something that's action.
Yeah,
You don't sit still well, I bet.
not really.
Not really. Okay. Rose, you are a business shoe. No, wrong shoe. Rose, what is your shoe?
I originally got combat boot, but honestly, that doesn't really. I mean, some of the things like I love to serve people. That's one of my main things. And then this might be bad, but I love a good argument.
Well, that fits into combat boot. Yeah.
So I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, debate, definitely. I can understand that as well. Okay, so our business shoe is Ava Grace. So what would you say brings you joy?
I mean, several things, but I do like it whenever like we're planning like a fun event or something and it takes a while to plan and then it actually happens and then it like goes through and it just works
Okay.
out and everything goes well.
So you like the accomplishment to see,
Yeah.
to bring things to completion.
Yeah.
So mission accomplished, huh?
Yeah.
Does that give you a great deal of satisfaction that you made it
Yeah.
happen
Yeah.
from start to finish? See, like a clown shoe, they're going to get all excited about it and have all these great ideas, and then they can hand it off to you and let you finish it. Make sense? Let them brainstorm, and then you organize it, plan it, and get it to the end. And then you take it to the combat boot, and they're going to evaluate it, and they're going to go, well, this was good, this was bad, you know, and kind of section it out. Does that make sense? How that all works together? Okay, so joys. Let's talk to our house shoe, Hunter. What is your joys?
So some of the joys that I have, and I know you kind of explained it, that's kind of like the nest or hub, like our space.
Mm-hmm.
Usually I find that kind of, and my grandparents are out hunting outside, outdoors on a trail, or even just in a comfortable spot, whether it's on a back patio with friends. So that's kind of my place.
Okay. So you could see yourself having a cabin by a lake and with a big porch and just hanging, right?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Okay, so we've looked at the joys of all four of our temperaments now. And so let's talk about the values. What do you value? What's something that's really important to you, maybe in relationships, might be a good way, or in your family relationships. What do you value? What is of great worth to you? So let's go back to our clown shoe. Shelby and Jonathan, what's something that's of value to you, that you value in a relationship?
I value trust, like in my friends. I value their trust in me and me trusting them, that they won't tell them or tell people what if I tell them not to tell them. So trust is one of them, and I value their loyalty. And in like family relationships, like as I value my family, and I also value I don't know, just I like having fun, you know? I'm a clown shoe.
All right. Jonathan, are you able to add anything to that?
No, not really.
Okay, that kind of fits with you too.
No, not really.
Okay. So business shoe, Ava, what do you value in relationships?
I value whenever, like, if you get into an argument or something, whenever someone can like stop thinking about what they're trying to prove and take a minute to look into the other person's
Okay, so
perspective.
empathy.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a hard thing to do, but so
Yes. Anything to add to that, or is that pretty much it? Just looking at
that's
other
pretty much
perspectives.
it.
Okay. All right. Combat boot. Or boots.
I value kind of like being able to be yourself around people and not have to worry if someone's going to think you're weird or not get what you're talking about with my
Okay.
friendships.
So being able to be authentic and be your own individual person.
Yeah, like being able to have like a full friendship, not like a half one.
Okay. Rose, anything to add to that?
I really value when somebody is dependable or especially on time. Being on time is really important to me.
Okay. That kind of goes along a little bit with our business shoe too. But there, a lot of people that's important. Hunter and me, time is not important. We're just like, whenever it happens, we're good. Okay. Hunter, what do you value in relationships?
I know you brought it up when talking about the shoe, but being respected by others. I know I value respect. I know if you may not like me or I don't like you, I'll still treat you with respect and treat you how I want to be treated. So
That's a good, important
that's something that I
quality.
value.
Yeah. I forgot to show, I did bring, Lucy, I forgot to ask you if you had anything to add to the combat boot. So I have real combat boots. Not sure whose they are, but a friend of mine procured these for me. So these are like the real deal, and they weigh about 10 pounds. Anything to add to that, Lucy? We had individuality and dependability and timeliness.
I was actually the one who said the individuality part.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're good.
Again, orange and post-COVID brain. I have like no short-term memory anymore. Okay, so now let's talk about strengths. What do you think are the strengths that you bring to a job, a relationship, to 4-H? What are some of the things that you think your temperament can bring to an organization or a group? You want to start, Shelby?
Yeah. So I think that very outgoing is something that I bring to to 4-H. I'm a county officer, and they, I'm like I said, I'm an orange too. I'm one of the only one orange. So I feel like that I bring more outgoing, more fun. If something gets like laid back and boring, I feel like that I brighten up the like involve everybody to have fun and
Okay.
more hands-on projects.
All right. We just got a couple more minutes. Name one strength that you think the house shoe brings to 4-H. Hunter?
You want me to do it?
Yeah. What do you think the house shoe brings to 4-H? What's your strength?
So as you kind of talked about it, I feel like the house shoe kind of serves as a mediator. It's kind of neutral, relaxed. And if there's a debate, then kind of be the voice of reason, I guess you could put it.
There you go. That's good. Combat boots. What do you bring to 4-H? What's your strength?
Decisiveness.
Decisiveness. Either A or B. Make a decision, right?
Mhm.
Okay. And our business shoe. What do you bring?
So personally, I know I got business shoe, but I also feel like I could be a mediator a lot of the time.
Business shoe
But
can.
yeah, I guess also willingness to listen to everyone else, I guess.
Right. And so I think you all have done a great job. I hope you've learned a little bit about yourself and your fellow 4-Hers, and encourage your friends and family to go online and take the survey, and it will help you understand others better. And if you want more information or would like to have some of the copies of this lesson so you could do it on your county 4-H level, just email me at lesa.rauh@okstate.edu or ask your county educator to contact me, okay? Thank you all for participating. It was a lot of fun, and wear your shoe proudly. See y'all later. Bye.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. You're very welcome.